You've been told that to change your life, you must change your thoughts, and you have followed that advice. You've recited the affirmations. You've built the vision boards. You've repeated the mantras until they became background noise. A constant, low-grade hum of effort. That tight feeling in your chest. That quiet fatigue behind your eyes. That sense of trying and still not arriving. But what if that very relentless effort is the one thing holding you back? What if you have been trying to steer a colossal ocean liner by screaming at the rudder, while completely ignoring its engine room? The truth is, there is a force at work beneath the surface of your thinking, a mechanism rooted in the fundamental nature of reality itself, one that is infinitely more subtle and immeasurably more powerful. In the next few minutes, we are going to journey beyond the familiar territory of self-help to reveal the single action that can fundamentally alter your reality. And it has almost nothing to do with forcing yourself to think a certain way. Stay with me, because what you are about to learn could completely transform your relationship with creation itself. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Has the constant grinding pressure to think positive ever left you feeling exhausted? Has it ever felt fraudulent? There you are, standing in front of the mirror, affirming abundance while your nervous system is vibrating with the frequency of lack. You declare you are in a perfect relationship while your body carries the deep, cellular imprint of loneliness. What is happening in that moment is not creation. It is conflict. It is a state of profound incoherence. Imagine yourself as the captain of that great ship. Your conscious mind is on the bridge, shouting, full steam ahead, north. But your entire crew, your subconscious mind, your ingrained beliefs, your physiological memory is holding an old, tattered map that points directly south. No matter how loudly you scream your orders, the ship will follow the map the crew believes in. You are not steering the ship. You are creating a mutiny on your own vessel. So, when you declare, "I am wealthy," the vast majority of you, your programmed nervous system, your cellular memory quietly objects. No, you're not. Remember last month's bills? Remember the anxiety your parents had around money? Remember that feeling of panic when you looked at your bank account? This internal division, this civil war between intention and belief, creates a chaotic signal. It's like trying to tune a radio to a clear channel while someone else is frantically spinning the dial. The result is static. Your energy is scattered, your focus is divided, and the universe, for lack of a better term, receives a garbled, contradictory message. This is the prison of positive thinking. It is a well-intentioned strategy that overlooks a fundamental law: you cannot paint a thin veneer of affirmation over a deep, physiological belief of unworthiness. The more you force a thought that you do not truly, deeply embody, the more your system rebels, the resistance builds, and you are left feeling like a failure, wondering why this works for everyone else, but not for you. The problem isn't you. The problem is the tool. We have been focusing on the most superficial layer of our creative capacity, the thinking mind. To access our true power, we have to go deeper. We have to move beyond thought, and for that, we turn to the strange, beautiful, and profound world of quantum physics. So if thought creates conflict, then the real question becomes this: what operates underneath thought? Before belief? Before effort? You don't need to understand quantum physics to use this. You only need to notice how awareness already works in your own life. If forced thinking is an internal war, what is the alternative? The answer begins with understanding the nature of reality itself. For centuries, We were taught that the universe was a clockwork machine of solid, predictable objects. Cause and effect were simple and linear. But in the early 20th century, a group of revolutionary scientists shattered this view. They peered into the subatomic world and found nothing solid at all. Instead, they discovered a shimmering field of pure energy, a vibrant sea of pure potential. They called it the quantum field. Imagine the quantum field as a vast, infinite, cosmic library. In this library, every single book represents a possible version of your reality. There's a book telling the story of you as a wealthy philanthropist. There's another where you are a celebrated artist, another where you live in a distant country, speaking a language you don't yet know. All of these books, all of these potential lives, exist simultaneously on the shelves as waves of probability unwritten stories waiting to be read, to be chosen. The central mystery they uncovered was this: how does this invisible field of potentiality collapse into the solid, physical world we experience? How is one of those infinite books pulled from the shelf to become the story of your actual life? They found the answer in a phenomenon called the observer effect. In its simplest terms, it demonstrated that at the quantum level, particles like electrons exist in a state of all possibilities, at once a superposition until they are observed. The moment an interaction occurs to measure the particle, this wave of infinite possibility collapses into a single, concrete outcome. It is as if you, the observer, walked into that infinite library and used your attention like a flashlight, shining it on a single book. The moment the light of your attention touches it, that book is pulled from the shelf, and its story begins to unfold as your material reality. Now, this is where our journey takes a crucial, mind-bending turn. In mainstream physics, an observation is typically any form of measurement by an instrument, a detector, a camera. But this very discovery led some of the founding fathers of quantum mechanics, brilliant minds like John von Neumann and Eugene Wigner, to ask a profound question: what if the final link in the chain of observation, the ultimate observer that collapses the wave of potential into actuality, is consciousness itself? This idea, known as the von Neumann-Wigner interpretation, proposes that the universe remains in a state of pure, undecided potential until a conscious mind interacts with it. While this remains a minority viewpoint in the field of physics, it offers a powerful new lens through which to understand our role in the cosmos. It reframes us from passive bystanders in a predetermined universe to active participants in the ongoing process of creation. It suggests that our awareness is not just experiencing reality, it is selecting it from an infinite menu of possibilities. To truly grasp the power of this idea, let's look at the famous double-slit experiment. In its essence, the experiment is simple. Imagine firing a stream of tiny particles, like electrons, at a barrier that has two vertical slits in it. If you keep both slits open and don't try to watch which slit the electrons go through, something impossible happens. Each individual electron behaves like a wave, appearing to pass through both slits simultaneously. On the screen behind the barrier, they create an interference pattern, like the ripples you'd see if you dropped two pebbles into a still pond. The waves from each slit interfere with each other, creating a pattern of crests and troughs. This is the electron in its unobserved state, a pure wave of possibility, existing everywhere and nowhere at once. But here is the part that baffled, and continues to baffle, physicists. The very moment they place a detector at the slits to see which path the electron takes, the wave behavior vanishes instantly. The act of measuring it, of observing it, forces the electron to choose a single path. It now behaves like a tiny, solid marble being thrown through one slit or the other. The interference pattern disappears, replaced by two simple bands on the screen, corresponding to the two slits. Let that sink in. The reality the particle expressed was dependent on whether or not it was being watched. Unobserved, it was pure potential. Observed, it became a single, concrete reality. Again, let us use this not as literal science for our macro world, but as a powerful metaphor for our own lives. What if your consciousness is the ultimate observation tool? What if your focused awareness is the mechanism that interacts with the quantum field of your own life, collapsing possibilities into the experiences you call your reality? This doesn't mean you are telekinetically manipulating individual subatomic particles with your mind. Rather, we are using this principle as a new map for creation. This model suggests that all realities already exist as potential in the field. Your job is not to create them from scratch, which requires immense effort and force. Your job is to select one, to choose. Your power, therefore, lies not in the frantic energy of your thinking, but in the quality and nature of your observation. This brings us to the core of our message. We have seen that thought alone can lead to conflict and internal war. We have seen that the quantum world operates on the principle of observation, collapsing potential into reality. So, what is the bridge? What is the single act that harmonizes these worlds and unlocks our true creative power? The single act that is more powerful than thought is not a thought at all. It is a state of being. The secret, the master key, is this embodied coherence. Let's break that down into its two essential parts. Coherence is the state where your inner world is no longer in conflict. It's when your thoughts, your emotions, and your body's physical sensations are all aligned and synchronized. The difference is like that of an orchestra. Mere positive thinking is like having only the first violinist trying to play a beautiful symphony, while the brass section is playing a military march and the percussion is drumming a chaotic rock beat. The result is a cacophony, a jumbled mess of sound that communicates nothing clearly. But coherence is when the conductor, which is you, your awareness, raises the baton, and the entire orchestra, your thoughts, emotions, and body plays the same magnificent, harmonious piece of music. The signal you send out is no longer static. It is a powerful, clear, resonant symphony. The absolute key to achieving this coherence lies in the second word, embodied. You do not just think about the reality you want. You must embody the feeling of that reality so completely that your body, your very cells, believe it is already true. Feeling is the language of the body. When you think the words, "I am wealthy," your brain hears the linguistic concept, but your body, with its lifetime of conditioning, may not believe a word of it. But when you can generate and inhabit the feeling of relief, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of security that wealth represents to you, your entire physiology begins to resonate with that reality. Your nervous system accepts it as a present tense truth. It changes your heart rate, your hormones, your entire electromagnetic signature. This is the profound difference between thinking of a destination and deciding you are already at the destination. Thinking is pointing at a photograph of a sunny beach. Embodiment is feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin and the gentle breeze on your face, even while standing in a cold, dark room. Why is this so much more powerful? Because it ends the internal conflict. It declares a ceasefire in the war between your mind and body. When you embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your conscious mind and your subconscious body are no longer at odds. They become aligned. They are broadcasting a single, unified, coherent signal into the field of potential. You stop trying to get something out there, and you start being the person who already has it. The power is not in the thought. The power is in the state you occupy. Conceptually, this is profound. But how do we apply it in a practical, tangible way? It's simpler than you might think. Here are 3 steps to begin the practice. Step 1. Define the what, but surrender the how. Get crystal clear on the reality you are selecting. Not a vague, I want more money, but a specific state I am embodying, the state of financial freedom and security. The what is your chosen potential from the infinite library. However, and this is non-negotiable, you must completely and utterly release your attachment to the how. Think of it like placing an order on Amazon. Your job is to select the exact item you want the what, and to confirm your shipping address, your embodied, emotional state. You do not need to worry about which freeways the delivery driver will take, which distribution center the package will leave from, or the exact route to your door, the how. You simply trust that the system is designed to handle the delivery. Obsessing over the how is like constantly calling the delivery company to micromanage the driver. It only signals a deep lack of trust and creates resistance in the system. Your fixation on the path implies you don't believe you'll ever receive the package. Step 2. The coherent still point, marinating in the feeling state. This is the central practice. It is not about visualization, it is about sensation. A few times a day, for just 5 or 10 minutes. Stop everything. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes. Take a few deep, slow breaths, signaling to your body that it is safe to relax. Now, ask yourself a simple question: what is the dominant feeling of this reality? If it were already true, don't search for the answer with your thinking mind. Search for it with your body. Is it a feeling of profound relief? Is it an expansive sense of freedom? Is it a quiet, gentle peace? Is it a vibrant, bubbly joy? Identify that core feeling. Let it begin as a subtle sensation, maybe a warmth in your chest or a lightness in your stomach. Now, breathe into it. Imagine your breath fanning that small ember into a gentle flame, and then a warm fire. Allow it to expand until it fills your entire body. From the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. For these few moments, this feeling is your primary reality. You are not trying to get it. You are it. Marinate in this state. This is you, updating your body's signal. Step 3. Carry the state with you. This is where the transformation truly takes root and blossoms. The goal is not just to visit this state in meditation, but to eventually live from it. As you move through your day, continually check in. Ask yourself, how would the person who is already financially free walk? How would the person who is already deeply loved and cherished? Speak to the grocery clerk. What decisions would the person who is already radiantly healthy make for lunch? You begin to make choices not from the posture of your current circumstances, but from the internal posture of your wish fulfilled. When a contradictory circumstance appears an unexpected bill, a critical comment, the old you would react with fear or anger. The new you acknowledges the circumstance, but consciously chooses to return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled as your default state. You treat contradictory evidence as an old echo from a reality you are no longer observing, like a ghost from a past you've already left behind. This process has powerful parallels in modern neuroscience. Your brain contains a network of neurons at its core called the reticular activating system, RAS. The RAS acts as a sophisticated filter or a gatekeeper for your consciousness. of the millions of bits of sensory data bombarding you every second. The RAS decides what you actually pay attention to. Imagine your RAS is your own personal Google search algorithm. If you are constantly, emotionally searching for proof of lack, reasons to worry, and evidence of scarcity, that algorithm becomes incredibly efficient at showing you exactly that in your world. But when you begin to search with the embodied feeling of abundance, safety, and wholeness, you are fundamentally retraining that algorithm. You are feeding it a new, primary keyword. Suddenly, the search results in your physical reality begin to change. You start noticing opportunities, synchronicities, encounters, and ideas that align with your new state. They were always there, but your old algorithm had filtered them out, rendering them invisible to you. Furthermore, this shift from thinking to feeling is a shift into physiological coherence. Research from institutes like HeartMath has shown that the human heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field that changes its pattern depending on your emotional state. When you are feeling stressed, frustrated, or fearful, this field becomes chaotic and incoherent. When you are feeling gratitude, calm, or compassion, the field becomes orderly, smooth, and coherent. This is a measurable physical state that directly impacts your perception, cognitive function, and decision-making. When your thoughts and feelings are at odds, you are broadcasting an incoherent, static-filled signal. But when you align your thought of a desired future with the embodied feeling of it in the present, your heart and brain enter a state of coherence. You are no longer fighting reality. You are harmonizing with the reality you choose. We began this journey in the prison of positive thinking, frustrated by a tool that often creates more struggle than solution. We then journeyed into the very heart of reality itself, the quantum field, and discovered that our awareness is not a passive spectator, but an active participant in creation. And in that discovery, we unearthed the secret. It is the simple, profound act of embodied coherence. It is the understanding that your power lies not in the thoughts you desperately think, but in the state of being you consistently occupy. Creation is not an act of brute force. It is an act of resonance. It is about selecting a reality from the infinite field and then tuning your entire being, mind, body, and soul to the frequency of that reality through the language of feeling. You are not just a thinking mind trapped in a body. You are a field of consciousness, an observer collapsing the waves of infinite possibility into the experience you call your life. So, my invitation to you is this: lay down the weapons of struggle. Give up the war of forcing yourself to think positive. Instead, pick up the elegant, subtle, and infinitely powerful tool of your own embodied awareness. Dare to feel, right now, what it would feel like if your greatest dream were your current reality. And then practice living from that feeling, one moment at a time. The universe is not happening to you. It is responding through you. Your power is not in what you think, but in who you decide to be. Stop thinking about it. Start being it, and watch as the infinite possibilities gracefully collapse into the one beautiful reality you choose.